As we settle into a comfortable seat, let's tune in to our breath for this morning yoga class. For us, it's December 30th, a few days before we transition into the new year. Solstice has passed and the daylight is slowly returning us towards the warmer seasons. Although it was cold this morning on our blue sky day where I am. My thermometer read 30. I shouldn't be complaining because yesterday I looked at the temperature in Fairbanks, Alaska, and it was negative 37. So we are 67 degrees warmer than they are. So it's always relative. In this class today, I wanted to share ideas from two of the podcasts I've been listening to from The Way Out is In, 2 episodes. So as you breathe deep into your belly and into your heart center, I'm going to invite you to contemplate 3 parts of yourself that Thich Nhat Hanh, the Zen Buddhist monk, has had his practitioners contemplate for years. Imagine that these 3 parts live and work together to support you as an individual being to live fully as yourself in this world today. And the first one is the meditator, the person who can slow down enough to see the big picture. The part of yourself that can settle into your seat right now and observe your breath. The conscious part of yourself that can land right here in this very moment, realizing that really this is what we fully have, this moment, as they transition one to the other. When we slow down and breathe, we have more capacity to experience loving kindness and compassion and appreciative joy and equanimity. The meditator in us makes this possible. Right now, as we breathe, we can offer this meditator thanks, gratitude for all the times we've been able to slow down and see the beauty in the world. Pause before we react. Settle in, even in our yoga practice, to knowing ourselves better. This meditator has companions. And one of the companions is the warrior. The warrior in us works diligently to support integrity and truth, honesty. The warrior in us stands up for what's right. And one of the most interesting descriptions made in the podcast about the warrior was that the warrior does not become a victim. The warrior works tirelessly towards being fully self, blossoming into our full potential. The warrior has tenacity and strength and courage to be active in the world, to not become a victim of our circumstances. Let's breathe into this warrior inside of ourselves, this peaceful warrior. This person who can face our fears with courage, step through the challenges. And let's invite in the third, the artist. The artist comes in with creativity to meet any situation, and creatively steps towards the challenges that we face. Looks at what's happening in our lives and our world through a variety of perspectives. And the artist creates beauty, offers beauty out into the world in whatever ways feel right for our unique being. Yes, the artist can create artwork, quilts, paintings, ceramic pots, clay sculptures, collage, beautiful gardens and landscapes. But the artist can also create community, create a sense of well-being inside a family, create ways to offer hope into community. Let's breathe into this artist inside of us. Let's witness all three of these aspects of ourselves. And let's nourish and nurture them during our practice. And one way we do that is related to another podcast I listened to about Thich Nhat Hanh's calligraphy. Thich Nhat Hanh loved writing simple statements like, be beautiful, be yourself. You are home. You are here. My tears from yesterday are raindrops today. And when Brother Phra was learning calligraphy from his teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, he felt like, this is so ugly. My letters aren't nearly as beautiful. There's no flow to my writing. This is awful. And Thich Nhat Hanh advised him to relax, to be in the moment, to allow for flow. And it made me think about our yoga practice. How when we're not caught up in making a pose perfect or doing it right, when we're really tuned into our own body, the flow comes much more easily. We become part of the pranic flow. And then we nourish these parts of ourselves, the meditator, the warrior, and the artist more fully. So let's invite a flowing practice to nourish our whole selves. Let's inhale our hands to our hearts. May we remain present. And if we catch ourselves being judgmental, may we let that go and come fully into the flow of the present moment with our meditator, our warrior, and our artist. Namaste. Okay. Let's come to standing. And let's begin with a little creative flow, allowing ourselves to move comfortably side to side, letting the arms dangle and flow. Energy to move down our arms towards earth, to ripple the air around us. And let's remember that we are 70% water, and begin to roll our shoulders and open the myofascial web and allow yourself to be the artist of this movement, to explore as you maybe take your elbows out to the sides, low, exploring different opportunities to open and how they feel in our unique body today. Let your body be the canvas. Let your body contain the artist that feels into each sensation. And let the warrior come in to help see the truth in your body, what it needs right now. As we step our legs wider Feet open and bring our arms up. And inhale, opening. And exhale, pinky fingers are back of hands together, folding forward. And then inhale into the shape and exhale the movement, inhaling into the shape. This position always reminds me of sculptures, wooden sculptures I would see when I lived in Senegal in college. Goddess sculptures, fluid breath. Each shape, part of the artistry of the practice. Can you settle in to awareness, breath, and body? And then reach the arms skyward, stretching the hands out and fist the hands and bring them down. And reach skyward, stretch up onto the straight legs and bend and reach and bend. And we begin really warming up the body, opening the hips. And then let the arms come back down, hands into the hip creases. Pull the femur bones out of the hips as your knees release apart from each other. And let your hips sway gently side to side. Fluid, three-dimensional breath deep into the belly, the mid-torso, the upper torso. The meditator aware of body and breath. And float your arms back up again. Palms up, draw the pinky fingers together, draw the hands into the heart center. Inhale, lift the heart skyward, and exhale, release the arms. Inhale, arms up, palms up, pinkies together, draw the hands into the heart. Lift the heart and release the arms. And inhale up, palms up, draw pinkies together, hands clearing the heart. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, straighten the legs and step the feet together. Palms up, inhale, float the heart up, let the spine flow over and become water again, rolling down river. Feel into any tight spaces as you roll and invite them to become watery again, fluid, so that the prana can flow through us in the practice. The uplift of pranavayu, the grounding of apanavayu, the integration of samanavayu. We come back to pausing in mountain pose. And let go tension in the arms, the shoulders, the jaw. Let yourself sink into the hug of gravity and become a mountain. Feel for the meditator. Can you slow down and land in the present moment? And let your hands begin to float in a figure eight, one palm up, one palm down. Let your spine gently twist side to side. And if it's comfortable to you, let the arms rise. Imagine there are birds flying into the sky, figure eighting up above your head. And as you twist the arms, feel for one rising a little higher than the other, stretching the myofascia around the shoulder. And then elbows soft, let the arms come back down to your sides and focus more on the gentle twist of the spine and where you feel it along the spinal channel. Fluid breath and movement. and come to stillness. Let's reach for our yoga therapy ball and place it underneath the foot. If you have two of them today, please bring those in along with the yoga strap. And roll the ball under one foot. Really feeling into releasing the arch, the middle foot, and not forgetting the pinky toe side. Trying to really roll the whole landscape of the foot. And while you're rolling the foot, see if you can be aware of the sensations moving up through the ankle, into the calf, into the shin. Just notice where you feel the sensations. Can you feel them in around the bones of the feet, not just in the sole? And contemplate how rolling just this tissue on the sole of the foot helps us open the entire leg, hip, side body. Wrap your toes forward, point your toes towards earth, and stretch the front of the foot. And then release the ball. And stand on both feet for a moment before you roll the other side. And notice the change side to side. And the longer we stand, the more you might experience. It makes me realize how important it is to slow down. If we're going quickly, we may have those benefits, but we are not conscious of the benefits. What happens when we become more conscious? To roll the other side, the whole sole of the foot, even the outer edge along the pinky toe. I see you, I feel you, I'm here. It's part of the meditation. And wrap the toes around the ball, pointing the toes towards the floor. Stretch the front of the foot, stretch around the knuckles. And release. And step the feet side by side. And open the feet wide again and turn the left foot out, taking the right heel back. Settle into your warrior two. When we open the hips, standing poses are a good place to begin because we warm up these strong muscles in the legs and buttocks. Pause in your warrior two today and settle your arms as if they're resting on water. Let your gaze be soft, as if you were looking out from the back of the room through the windows of your eyes. Notice where you tend to hold tension and you can let it go. Even the working legs and buttocks, do they have to work quite so hard? How do we integrate the shoulders? And as we stand longer in a pose, we bring in that warrior side of ourselves. that has the tenacity, the will to hold and stay for a few moments. And then let's turn palm up and lift our hearts towards the sky, resting into the body, rest to the bones. Come back to the meditator, breathing deep into the belly, mid-torso, upper torso. Noticing. Creating balance and harmony inside the pose. The meditator melds with the artist. Front hand coming to femur bone, back arm alongside the ear or hand on the hip. Bow the heart towards earth and inhale. Lift the heart towards the heavens. And today, see if you can lift vertebrae off vertebrae. Really find length and stretch through the spiraling spine. And perhaps come down to your forearm, grounding through the outer heel, lengthening through the fingertips. Pause with your heart lifted skyward. Stretch across the shoulder girdle. Breathe space into the body. Change the artistry of your hands. Just micro movements, feeling into what the change does to the myofascial web. Slowly moving your hands. Let the top side body elongate as you rainbow the spine skyward. Feel the breath pulse through the pose. Make the pose your own. Make it unique. Explore it. And then as you're ready, exhale back to warrior two, pausing in stillness. Notice if it's easier to be soft in the pose now. Straighten the left leg, turn it in. Turn the right leg out. Bend the knee not farther forward than the ankle. Float your arms up. Rest them on water. Check in that you're not collapsing the arches of your feet. They're awake. They're open. Check in with the whole circumference of your collar. If you micro move your head, can you find more ease in the pose? And gently, slowly lift into your dancing warrior. Relax into the posture. Feel for space around the form. Feel for space around the bones of the feet. Feel for balanced space in the knees. And exhale, front hand to the femur, back arm on the hip or alongside the ear. And exhale, heart towards earth. And inhale, heart towards the heavens. And keep the back heel grounded and stretch all the way through the crown. And move slowly enough that you can feel what's happening in the myofascial matrix of your body. You are the artist changing the shape. You are the meditator observing the present moment. You have the tenacity of the warrior. And maybe you come to your forearm and you lift heart towards the heavens and broaden across the collarbones. And let the hands change shape. Feel into the gentle tensions that may exist inside the hands. Invite flow and movement, even in the fascia of these extremities. And slowly rainbow the top side over. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. Now let the breath be your paintbrush. You may bend the back leg to get more stretch in the lumbar spine. You may lengthen, you may explore. And we slowly exhale back up to warrior two and we rest. And our toes aren't gripping. We're allowing ourselves to sink into the pose. And straighten the front leg and turn it in. Step the feet together and pause again in mountain. And notice how your hips may have changed in the practice. Your shoulders, your feet. And inhale, hands to the heart, knees bend, really grounding the full circumference of the heels. Pause in your Utkatasana. Fluid breath. Where can you release tension in the fierce pose? Now put more weight on one foot and then the other. Swing your hips a little side to side. Swing the hips. Swing the hips to one side. Swing the hips to the other side. Working and stretching simultaneously. Inviting blood flow down into the hips, into the legs. A fluid breath. Swing the hips side to side. And then place your hands on your knees at center and inhale, straightening the legs. Come into a cow pose with the spine. Breathe into the cow, taking your inner thighs back, sit bones wide. Stretch away with the crown, with the heart center, lifting underneath the lumbar spine. Along the spine as you draw pelvic floor in, lengthen, take shoulders away from ears. And then soften the knees again, hands to the heart. Inhale, length to the spine. Keeping the knees still, gently twist one direction. Doesn't have to be far. Come back to center. Gently twist the other direction. Feel how the myofascia moves. A fluid breath. Notice how the weight shifts in the legs. Come back to center, release the arms and stretch skyward. Interlace the fingers, thumbs to the base of the skull. Lift the elbows, root the tailbone and pubic bone. Lift the navel ring, the low rib ring, the chest ring. Lift and stretch from the base of the skull. Relax your feet onto earth. Feel for space in the knees. And see if you can lift the pelvis off the femur bones. Lift one vertebrae off the other, even through the neck. And if you'd like to, unfurl your arms and reach through the thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers. Stretch the whole side bodies. Length. And exhale, hands to the heart. Mountain pose. Fluid breath. Let's come to the wall and let's reach up the wall. Fingers as high as they'll go, coming on to the balls of our feet. We begin to lower the heels slowly. Take it slow today. Let the artist be curious about how the form changes. And the meditator be aware in this present moment. And then let the hands come down to the wall and walk back into your half dog. And inhale your cow. And exhale your hissing cat with knees bending. And invite fluidity into the spine. No right and wrong, just listening inward to the body. Finding flow in the practice. Come back into neutral spine and float one foot up behind you, grounding through the four corners of the other foot. Lift off the wall if you can and find balance. Again, working the hips, strengthening the standing leg, hugging into midline. The three-dimensional breath, meditating on the pose. Creatively exploring. And step forward. Hands to shoulder height. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Shoulder blades strong on the back. Roll up into your standing cobra. Lengthening the back of the neck. Rooting through the circumference of the heels. Float the balls of your feet off the floor, stretching the calves and the backs of the knees. Relax the feet back to the floor. Now release your arms beside you, palms forward, thumbs out, open across the collarbones. Lift the shoulder blades. Lift the back ribs, lift the heart center. Breathe deep into the torso. Releasing the tailbone. Lift the low back ribs, lift the base of the skull. And exhale, release into mountain pose. Hands back up onto the wall, lift onto the balls of the feet, and slowly lower the heels. Feel the shape change. And as you're ready, you walk back into your half dog and come into your cow and your hissing cat. And just focus on letting the spine flow. Maybe you take one hip back and then the other. Maybe you gently twist the body, finding opening in your myofascial matrix. Creative exploration of this unique body. And then we come back to neutral and we float the next foot up. And perhaps we float the fingertips off the wall. And we land in this moment, this pose, this breath. With tenacity, courage, and strength. Fingers back to the wall. We step in, hands at shoulder height. We inhale. We lengthen the side bodies to the backs of the armpits. And then we roll the heart open. As if a bolster were holding us skyward. We lengthen the neck. We isometrically draw down with the hands gently. We root evenly through pubic bone, tailbone, and sit bones. Strength down into the four corners of each foot. We lift the toes, lift the arches, release the hands, palms forward. Still lengthening the side bodies up into the armpits, up the sides of the neck. And we exhale, release. We turn our backs to the wall. And we rest back onto the wall. If you prefer to use a foam roller behind you here, you can. Fluid breath. Floating to one toe, we lift the knee. We settle the hips onto the standing leg and we float that leg open if that's accessible to us. Strong across the back body, open in the collar. Strong in the Pilates square, tailbone releasing. And we have the strength and courage of the warrior, but we also have the wisdom not to hold a pose too long. We step down, floating up on the other side. We may just stay with a bent knee or we lengthen the leg. Rooting through the standing foot, we lengthen through the crown, and then we come back to a fluid breath, strengthening the hips through the standing poses. And we release and pause in center, floating off the wall, mountain pose. Relaxing into mountain. Okay. Let's stand out away from the wall with fingertips on the wall and float the outside knee up into the hand. Standing strong on the standing leg, open the outside knee outward. A fluid breath. Now you can release that femur bone onto your hand. You can take the hand from the shin underneath the leg and straighten the leg out to the side. So we're doing Padangusthasana series. And bend the knee and draw the leg back in. Release the inside arm and float the leg straight and step down. Pause in mountain pose. Feel how working one side changes the body. And then as you're ready, go to the other side, lifting your knee. Stand tall, heart lifted, gaze at the mountaintop and open the knee out to the side. You can stay here if this is good practice for you, standing strong in the standing leg, four corners grounding, or reach that hand underneath the hamstrings of the lifted leg and see, can I come towards straight with that lifted leg? Can I keep lengthening through my crown? Shoulder blades strong on the back, front Pilates square strong. And bend the knee, bringing the leg back to center, float the arm out to the side. And if you can, straighten the leg. Fluid breath. And bend and step down. Come back to the center. And if you would prefer to take Uttanasana Konasana sitting on a chair, you can do that. Or we're going to come into Prasarita Padangusthasana. Legs wide. Heels out away from the ball mounds of the toes. Hands to the hips. Wrap the thumbs towards the back body and press down with the arms. First, we'll come into our standing back bend. Rooting through the legs, lift the heart center. Root through tailbone and pubic bone. Stretch the side bodies long. And right here, play in the pose a little bit. How do you stabilize it for opening? Tenacity of the warrior to explore it, but not to hinge too far into the pose. Like I noticed I was lifting my chin a lot and kind of creasing the back of my neck, over hinging at the back of my cervical spine. So I lifted a little more at the base of the skull. So find your own unique places where you may give in to the path of least resistance, even though it might not be best for the bones or the joints of your body. And then come back to the breath and how the breath can open the myofascia from the inside. And you have the creative capacity to draw the breath where you want it to go. And then exhale, inner thighs back. Swing the spine forward, hands to the blocks or the seat of a chair if that's better for you. And inhale your cow. And pause in the cow and traction the pelvis away from the crown. Again, make room for the back of the neck. And then exhale, knees bend, come to fingertips on the hands. Cat curl the spine and pause. Breathe into the shape. See your body as a sculpture in the art museum. What would this pose represent? And then float forward, back, long spine. Walk the blocks forward and a little bit wide for a wide-legged downward dog. I like wrapping my fingers over the blocks and then tractioning my hips behind me, but that means your blocks are going to have to be on a mat or they might slide. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. And we may soften the knees and swing the hips side to side, opening the hips, side to side swing, breathing into the whole myofascial matrix. How do we creatively come into this body in this moment? Take the circles the other way. Some of us may stay with this exploration. Others may release their left arm and reach for their right ankle and pause and relax. Maybe you want to take your hands off the blocks and fold a little farther. Fluid breath. Releasing the left hand, bring the right hand around towards the ankle. It may or may not reach the ankle. And you may or may not want to do this particular exercise. You have the freedom to explore this pose, to make it your own, make it unique. Those of you who reach for the ankle, let go, and you can release into your fullest Prasarita Padangusthasana. If your head comes towards the floor, you may want to walk your feet to the point where the crown of your head barely touches the floor, or you could bring a block in and just gently feel that pressure on the crown. Stay with the breath deep into the body. Stay with your own exploration. Maybe the hips move side to side gently, or the knees bend and straighten. Make sure your feet are stretched open on the floor from big toe to pinky toe, from ball of the foot to heel. Maybe you want to twist the spine a little bit. And then come back to center. Bending the knees, float yourselves back up to standing. And step the feet together, mountain pose. Those poses are good because they are inversion poses for those of us who can get the head a little lower than the heart. So let your head settle again. And let's return to the wall or use a chair, placing your hands for support as you bring one foot into the same side hand for a runner's stretch. And in runner's stretch, let the knee release earthward. Feel for those shoulder blades we activated on the back body in our cobra on the wall. And lift the heart center, reaching up through the crown as you reach the bent knee and the foot earthward. Some of you may want to release the wall and open the other arm out, thumb back, palm up, stretching across the collar, lifting the heart. We're staying with runner's stretch this time. We'll come back to dancer. And release. Pause and feel your body side to side. And notice how that stretch doesn't just stretch the quads, but up into your hip may feel more open. That side body might feel more grounded. And as you're ready, lift to the other side. Releasing the knee earthward, lift the heart in the opposite direction. Broaden across the collarbones. Maybe the gaze lifts, the back of the neck lengthens, stretching through the myofascial web. Fluid, three-dimensional breath. How do we create space in the body? Invite the tightness to become more like water. And release. Pause in mountain pose. Paint the inside back body with your breath. Paint the side bodies. Paint the front body. And let's come back into that practice one more time. You may step farther away from the wall, or you may place the chair beside you forward so that you can reach for it in balance in dancer pose. Or you can do the pose in the center of the room. Lift your foot into your hand, release the knee. Draw your collarbones open, find the shoulder blades on the back body. Press the front foot into the hand as you slowly begin to float the pose forward. We don't underestimate the standing poses for building strength in the hips and helping us open them. Fluid breath, but these poses can help us open the entire body. Feel where your body is stretching open. Invite the breath to come assist the opening. You are the artist creatively opening this posture. You are the warrior with the tenacity to hold it. You are the meditator aware of this present moment. And release. Pause in mountain pose. Feel the body side to side. All the way up to the sides of the neck. To how the arms hang. And as you're ready, standing foot open, bring the other foot into your hand. Release the knee earthward. Find the lifted heart, the open collar. Take your time to slowly explore your way into Natarajasana. And only go as deep as your unique body feels comfortable today. And then explore how to relax into the pose so the breath and the prana can flow. Beautiful. And release. And pause again in mountain pose. And bring your blocks or your chair seat in front of you, placing one block, one on high, on a block on low. And fold again in front of the block tower into your Utkatasana. Heels grounding. Look down at your feet and open across the transverse arch from big toe to pinky toe. Relax your toes. Feel for all three arches open. And reach your left hand for the block tower. You can be on fingertips or palm. Float the right shoulder blade onto your back. Open across the collar. Lengthen your neck out of the collar. And if you'd like to, lift the right wing towards the sky, whatever height is right for you. Breathe into the spine. Now remember, with osteoporosis, we don't want to bang bones into bones. So you're releasing the pelvis away from the crown. You're trying to find space between the vertebrae, and you may not twist as far. Fluid breath. And release the lifted wing. And switch sides. Floating the wing up. Take your time. Ground into the standing arm. Keep the knees in your consciousness as you float the wing open. Breathing into the pose. Still strengthening legs and hips while we open the spine, the heart center, the shoulders. And release. Float up to mountain pose. Paint the lower back body with your breath. And let's come to the floor. So you may want your sandbag later on today. If you have one, you may want your eye pillow. I want you to have your yoga therapy balls and straps as we lay down onto the floor and hug our knees into our chest. And then let's circle the knees away from each other and back together again. A strong standing pose practice. Now we're going to settle into strengthening and opening the hips on the floor. Take your circles the other way. And then take one knee up towards the chest, the other towards the foot of the mat. Circle them wide and through the center. So they're going in different directions. See if this movement can become flowing. And then see if you can flow at the opposite direction. And then coming back to neutral, reach your hands behind your knees, draw your knees wide towards your armpits, and lift your feet towards the sky, happy baby. Maybe your hands will reach the pinky toe sides of your feet, and you'll rock side to side. Come back to the three-dimensional breath. And see if you can smile into this moment. This moment, beautiful moment. Be yourself. Be beautiful. Be beautiful. Be yourself. And coming back from the rocking, those of you that want to take your big toes with your two-piece fingers and open into a straddle, feel free to try that. Or stay with happy baby. Maybe you still rock like the creative baby waking up from its nap, exploring its environment. Maybe you rock your pelvis, tailbone towards earth, tailbone towards sky. Maybe you bend your knees again, or bend one knee at a time and shift side to side. Play with opening. And come back to center. And float your feet to the floor. And reach for your yoga therapy ball or balls. And roll it underneath or them underneath your pelvis, rolling over the balls side to side. I'm going to try two today. But that doesn't mean I won't roll on one for a while and then roll on the other side, because I can get a little deeper that way. Explore the whole landscape of the buttock. Fluid breath. Come back to center and rest your pelvis. And bring your right ankle up over your left femur. Flex your right foot and float your legs into whatever height feels right for you. Hugging around the femur or the shin, or placing your left foot on a block. Sway your pelvis side to side, or even circle the legs. Let yourself play a little bit in the pose you take. Make sure you're not holding your breath or gripping the body. Some of you may be able to hold behind the left femur and straighten the right leg up. Fluid breath. You may even be able to reach for, yes, the straightened left leg, foot, or ankle, or shin. It's all about an exploration of where we can open the myofascial matrix. So for me, even in this position, if I take my hips wide, even cat curl or cow curl my spine a little bit, then I may find a little more opening in the hips. And let's release left foot and then right foot. Bring your hands into your hip creases and press the hip creases away from your shoulders. Walk your shoulders away from the hip creases and breathe into the spine. And we do a lot of strengthening. What we want to make sure we don't do is strengthen so much our connections from pelvis to spine that we cause compression in the lower lumbar discs. Breathe into stretching the sides of the spine, the low back spine. And then relax and place the left ankle over the right femur, left foot flexed, and draw the legs in to whatever distance towards your chest feels right for you. And then circle or sway. Remember to continue inviting fluidity, flow. When Jory and I were in Japan, we had a calligraphy lesson. And I remember some of us feeling the same way Brother Frappu described, like, oh, we can't make this beautiful. We were writing beautiful Japanese lettering, for the words love, and I can't remember the other words. And Miyu kept telling us the same thing. Relax. Let your brush flow. So right now, relax. Let your brush flow. Let your breath flow. Nourish your meditator, your warrior, and your artist. And then, if you'd like to, you can straighten the right leg for a few moments. Explore moving the body in different directions. Maybe you're rocking tailbone towards earth, widening the pelvis, the sit bones away from each other. And then release, right foot to the floor, left foot to the floor. If your head's on a pillow, release your head and lift up into your bridge pose and swing hip to hip. Fluid breath. Strengthening the hips again, the hamstrings, the low back. Come to center and reach the pubic bone skyward. Really ground from shoulder to elbow. Feel the strength of your humerus bones grounding. And as they ground, lift the heart. Reach the pubic bone away from the heart. Reach the tailbone away from the back of the heart. And then soften and lower your pelvis towards the floor and lift. Really use your arms broad across the shoulder. And then lower. And as you lift, take heart away from pubic bone. And lower. And as you lift, fill the torso with breath. And this time, as you land the pelvis, let the arms open towards the backs of the hands, if that's okay, in your rotator cuff. It'll stretch the rotator cuff. And walk the soles of your feet together. Let the knees open wide. Stay with the breath. Let your palms rise back towards each other and rest on your belly. Walk your spine long. And float your knees back up towards the sky. Reach for your yoga strap and take the yoga strap over the ball of your left foot. Let the left leg pendulum. Feel for maintaining your neutral lumbar curve. And then next time your foot comes skyward, reach your arms skyward, evening the strap, and lengthen the right leg on the mat and take the arms, if you can, comfortably overhead, letting the foot follow. And you may ratchet in on your strap a little if you know you can stretch a little farther. Breathe into the hamstrings. Do not hitch the left hip to get it closer to the head. Keep the hips even. Let this be an opening of the myofascia at the back of the leg and in the hip. Stretch the right leg long and point and flex both feet if possible. At least point and floint the front foot. Breathe into the shape. Be in this shape in this moment. Sometimes the warrior strength just comes in sticking with something. And then lift the left leg back up, hold the strap in the left hand, and open the right arm like a wing. Take the left leg out to the left. You can put your blocker bolster under it if you like. Become a star in the night sky, and from your pelvis, radiate out through your limbs, through your crown. Soften back in towards center. And exhale back to center, switching hands with the strap. Take the left hand into the hip crease. Really press the left femur bone down the mat as you take the foot across, keeping the left sacrum down. Pendulum the leg. Relax the shoulders, the neck, but feel into a stretch through the hip, through the IT band and the outer hamstring. And then if you'd like to roll into the opening, lengthening through the limbs, breathing deep into the torso. Feel how the breath massages the abdomen in the twist. Flowing like water, take the left hand to the strap. Float the left foot back to center. And one more time, draw the foot in overhead. And then lay both legs out on the mat. Release both arms. Be in this moment, in this body. And as you're ready, walk both feet in, strap up over the right foot ball mound and pendulum. Try not to flatten the lumbar curve as the leg swings. And swing the leg up towards the sky. Take the arms overhead as you stretch the left leg long. Radiate out from the pelvis, along the spine, through the legs, out the arms. Maybe you draw a little tighter on the strap. Hug the midline with the hips. Keep the hips even. Let the stretch come in the back of the leg. Maybe you flex and point. Fluid breath. Awareness flowing through the body. And the left leg really relax heavily on the floor. And then as you're ready, take the strap in the right hand, left arm opens like a wing, and release the right leg outward, shining like a star in the night sky. Nourishing the warrior, the meditator, the artist. And flowing like the experienced calligrapher's brush, draw the right leg back to center. Switch hands with the strap. Release the right leg to the left, right hand in the hip crease, and perhaps pendulum gently the right leg. Feel into what's stretching. Let yourself be fully here in this moment. And if you'd like to, roll into your twist. Rolling the right hip down the mat. And release back to center. Taking the foot overhead one more time. Maybe sway your hips side to side and move the foot, stretching around the circumference of the right leg by swinging it gently right to left. And then release the right leg down alongside the left. Let the arms open, palms up, and breathe deep into the torso. Relax into the hug of gravity. Now draw your bolster around so that it will rest under your knees. Reach for your sandbag if you'd like it over your pelvis for grounding. And reach for your blanket, socks if you need them. And place the sandbag, if you have one, from hip to hip across your pelvis. Letting the knees rest over the bolster. Make sure to cover up if it's chilly in your room. Having trouble with my blanket. There we go. And then reach for your yoga therapy ball. Take your yoga therapy ball with your left hand to the left side of your chest. That's awkward. Bring the right hand in and massage underneath your collarbone towards your humerus bone. Cross the rib cage towards your sternum. Up and down the upper chest. Maybe you circle the ball. Maybe you lift the left arm so that it rests elbow out, palm up, and you massage into the armpit. Again, it's a creative exploration of releasing the fascial tissue so the bones can float. And after you finish the left side, pause. Let your arms come to your sides and feel the difference. And then take the ball to the right side. Try different strokes with the brush of the ball, perhaps straight across the chest, up and down, in circles, in diagonals. Maybe taking your arm overhead, massaging into the armpit. And then release this side and release the ball. And let yourself rest into Shavasana. It's in Shavasana that we integrate the work we've done today. It's when we let ourselves rest. Samana Vayu, the wind of integration, comes into play. If we just keep moving and going and doing all day, we may not get to integrate the benefits quite as much. Let yourself settle into the breath. Relax into the moment. If any thoughts come to mind, observe them with interest. Let your meditator be the guide now. Let the thoughts move on. Now gently begin to stretch the body. Maybe even allow a post-yoga yawn. And as you're ready, begin to move yourself out of the restorative pose and back up to a comfortable seat. Let yourself land in your seat for a moment. And let's bring our hands to our hearts. May we this week feel into our meditator, our warrior, our artists, and how they support us. May we go with the flow in our lives and have a very happy new year. Namaste. Thank you for your practice. Bert, it's a little chilly in my house. I'm putting my socks back on. All right.